What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and welcome back. In today's video we are checking out the latest and one of the most advanced robot vacuums from eufy. The one that we have here today is called the eufy X10 Pro Omni. Now in the box you're not only gonna find the robot vacuum that you're seeing here, you're also gonna get the Omni station. However, the Omni station is a bit too big to have on the desk here next to me. But combined with that Omni station, the vacuum basically does everything by itself. It will empty the dustbin inside by itself, it will wash the mop pad by itself. It will basically do everything by itself. All the cleaning is done by the vacuum itself. You don't really have to do anything. You basically just schedule a cleaning cycle and the vacuum will take care of everything. Now, when you take into consideration all the specs and features of this vacuum and all that under $1,000, this vacuum has the potential of being the best value robot vacuum under $1,000. So let's go over some of those specs. Alright, so one of the most important factors when choosing a robot vacuum is definitely the suction power. This vacuum right here has an insane suction power of 8000 PA. That's basically more than 95% of the vacuums available on the market, and also if you check out all the other robot vacuums that have a similar suction power, they're also almost twice more expensive than this one. So quite impressive the suction power that we get from this vacuum here, taking in consideration the price. So whenever the vacuum goes over any hard floors, any carpets or any surface that you have at home, it will basically pick up anything from that surface on the first run because there is so much suction power. All that dust, hair and whatever you may have on the floor basically goes into the dustbin that we have inside the vacuum here. Here we also have the filter. You'll basically have to clean the filter every so often, but the vacuum basically does the emptying of the dustbin here all by itself. So it will basically go back to that Omni station and it will clean itself out in that Omni station because we do have a dust bag in there. Another very important part of a robot vacuum system like this is definitely the mopping, and this one does mopping very well as well. So at the bottom of the robot vacuum here we have two mop brushes. First of all, these rotate at 180 RPM and they also put a downward pressure of 1 kilo. So imagine when those mop pads go on the floor, they actually put pressure on the floor. Basically the same pressure that you would put if you'd be cleaning the floor manually. So very important when it goes over stains or stuff like that. So everything that is on the floor, it will definitely be cleaned. Now inside the vacuum we also have a small water tank. This water tank will basically get filled up from the Omni station automatically, so you don't have to do anything, and that will basically keep those mops moist throughout a cleaning cycle. The vacuum will also go back to the Omni station throughout a cleaning cycle. You actually decide how often it goes back and it will wash those mop pads in the Omni station there as well. So from the app there you can choose how wet those are and how often they get washed as well. So for example, you can have them being washed after each room. And actually I have that set for this particular vacuum at home here. Now another super cool feature is the ability to lift up the mop pads. So if you have a combination of hard floors and carpets, basically whenever the vacuum gets to a carpet, it will lift up those mop pads and this way it will not get your carpets wet. With a lot of other vacuums that I tried in the past, they basically mop your carpets and that's definitely something that you do not want. So this one will lift up the mop pads and this way it will not get your carpets wet. Also very important, whenever this is done a cleaning cycle, it will basically wash the mop pads and then it will dry them with 45 degrees Celsius hot air. So this way there is no bacteria built up in the base there, the mop pads here are not gonna smell and so on. Now if you want, you can also remove the mop pads here and you can actually pull this off from them. So let me just show you quickly. So every so often if you want, you can remove these and basically you can wash them and then you can put them back. But the vacuum does a good job at keeping this clean throughout the cleaning cycle, and after the cleaning cycle is done, it will also dry this up. Now, all that suction power and the great mopping would mean nothing if the vacuum cannot find its way throughout your house, but that's definitely not the case with this one. So with this vacuum we get the navigation system at the top here. When you first run the vacuum the first time, it will basically map out your entire house. The vacuum knows exactly where it is, it knows exactly where it has to go and where it's been, and of course it knows how to go back to the docking station if it runs out of power, for example, or if it needs to wash those mop pads, or if it needs to empty the dustbin. so it knows how to go back from pretty much any spot of your house to the docking station, so very important. Now on top of that we also have an obstacle avoidance system. So on the front here we have an RGB camera and we also have a light. So basically if the vacuum needs more light, if it's vacuuming at night for example, it will turn on that light so it can check out and see what obstacles are in its way. It can also take pictures of those obstacles and you can actually see those pictures on the app. Now very important to know, those pictures are processed locally so they don't go to the cloud or anything like that, so everything is nice and private within your house. So those pictures never leave the vacuum here. Now from the app you can also turn off that feature, so if you don't want the vacuum to take any pictures of any obstacles, the vacuum doesn't have to do that. But whenever you have the app open and you basically zoom in on the map, you can look on the map and see what obstacles the vacuum detected throughout the house. So cables, shoes, dog poop for example, that's a very important one because this way the vacuum is not gonna go over dog poop and spread it throughout the house. So it will basically find every obstacle that you have around the house and go around it. Another feature worth mentioning is the auto detangling of the roller brush here. If you've had a robot vacuum in the past and you live with some people that have longer hair, you did notice that there is a lot of hair stuck on the roller brush. Well, this one has an auto detangling feature and this actually has a little comb here that will help detangle all that hair. So whenever this goes back, it will actually rotate that brush the opposite way and this way that hair comes off it. So you shouldn't see that much hair stuck on this roller brush out here. Since I have the vacuum like this, of course, we have a little wheel here, we have another brush here. This kind of pushes all the dirt towards the suction hole, which is here. Of course, the brush at the bottom here can be removed, you can clean it, eventually you can replace this if you need to. We also have a variety of sensors all around here. So first of all, the vacuum is not gonna fall down the stairs. So if you do have stairs, these sensors will keep the vacuum from falling down the stairs. And these sensors will also tell the vacuum whenever it reaches carpets. Whenever it reaches carpets, you also have the option to have the suction increased. So it will increase the suction to pick up more stuff from the carpet. And very importantly, to lift up the mop pads. So that's how the bottom of the vacuum looks like. Alright, and next we are taking a quick look at the Omni station. So the Omni station has two water tanks. One water tank for clean water, so you'd fill that up with clean water, and one water tank for dirty water. So basically all the water that gets removed from washing the mop pads will go into that dirty water container, which you'll have to empty every so often. We also have a dust bag in there, so as I said, this vacuum will empty all the dust from the dustbin into that dust bag itself. And at the bottom there we basically have the washing station for the mops. This is the same place where the vacuum will dry those mop pads with 45 degrees hot air. So basically, if you have the vacuum clean your house 2-3 times a week, that 3 liter of clean water container should last enough so the vacuum can do everything by itself for about a week. After that, of course, you're gonna have to put some water into that water tank, and you're also gonna have to empty the dirty water tank. So up to a week, I think you don't really have to do anything. The vacuum can just do everything by itself. As for the Eufy Clean app, this is basically the app that you would install on your smartphone so you can control and customize everything about the vacuum. Well, as I said, everything is customizable. You can select what suction power the vacuum should use. You can select how wet those mops should be. You can send the vacuum to a certain area in your house. You can select do not go zone. So let's say there is a place in your house where you don't want the vacuum to go. It's easy. You just open the map and you can make a do not go zone. You can also make do not go zones for mopping only. Just to give you an example, you can set schedules and so on. So everything about this vacuum from the app there is very customizable. If you want to set a schedule so the vacuum only vacuums whenever you're not home, you can do that as well. So the app allows you total control over this vacuum. Another very cool and very unique feature for this vacuum is called Smart Track Cleaning. You basically have to enable this from the Eufy Labs section of the Eufy Clean app, so the app that you use to control the vacuum. And once you enable that, the vacuum can basically start following. Well, it kind of follows your feet, so it basically starts vacuuming as soon as it starts following you, and this way you can kind of take it wherever you need it in the house to clean. So very unique feature, because this so you don't need to take the phone out. The vacuum just basically follows you around, cleans whatever you want it to clean, and then it will just go back to the charging station. So very unique feature. My overall experience with the vacuum has been really good for the 2 weeks that I've had the vacuum, so the house does look spotless. There is also a feature that I don't remember seeing for any other vacuum. I believe it's called edge hugging. So basically the vacuum will go on the edge of the wall, an area that most vacuums kind of miss. And this one does this awkward movement, but it basically reaches the edge of the wall everywhere around the house. If you do enable that, I did notice that the cleaning cycle takes longer, because obviously the vacuum has to do more work to clean all the edges, but you're gonna find that all the edges in the house are much cleaner when compared to other vacuums that I got to try in the past. Since we have that downward pressure on those mops, everything from the floors gets removed. So if you have some coffee stains or something like that, the vacuum goes over that and it does remove that. The suction power will basically suck everything from the wall, and that obstacle avoidance system is also very, very useful, because if you do forget something on the floor, some toys for children, even though there are no children here, but I do have cables throughout the house. I do have shoes here. I have a bunch of boxes and stuff. So the vacuum will avoid all that as well. So no problem leaving the vacuum alone to do everything by itself. So taking into consideration everything the vacuum has to offer, the crazy suction power, the really good mopping, the navigation system, the obstacle avoidance, the Omni station that does everything with the hot drying air, this vacuum definitely offers the best value out there for well under $1,000. Just to give you an example, I think I've done a video for another vacuum about a month ago that offered pretty much the same features as this one, but that one was twice more expensive. So you basically get flagship level features for much, much less than your regular vacuums. So really good value from this one. Right now, there is also an interactive discount that uses $1 for $200 off. It is a limited time offer. So basically with this discount, the product price is only $599.99. So if you want the vacuum at a really good price, this is the time to buy it. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer whatever questions you may have. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.